we've only harnessed about 10% of what GPT-3 is capable of. So that sounds crazy, but we've not hit the limits on this tool. Like this tool gets created, it's a model,
Yeah.
and you can use it any way you want.
Paul, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So Copy.AI looks super interesting. You've been hockey stick growth, as I've
That's right.
seen on Twitter.
That's right.
How did you get, like, what's the origin story of it? How did you get the thing going?
So my co-founder and I, we've been doing venture capital for the past 4 years, and we've been making angel investments along the side. And we've been looking for the next big thing. So when GPT-3, the AI, went into beta mode in July, we were all over it. So we saw these demos on Twitter that just totally blew our minds. And we're like, this is it. This is the next thing, So you had the smartphone that enabled like all these millions of apps and like mega companies built off the back of that platform. We thought that this is now good enough for commercial use across a wide number of applications. And the first one that we wanted to look into is short form text generation for business use cases. And the most common application of this is marketing. And so we built a site called taglines.ai in about 7 days using the GPT-3 platform, launched it on Twitter, got like 500 signups, and converted like 10 to 20 of them into paying accounts. And we moved the pricing up from like $3 a month to 5 to 10, and people kept signing up. So we knew that the format was at least working just for taglines. So what we wanted to do was build a platform of tools just like taglines, but to do all other kinds of marketing use cases. So now we basically took the taglines back end and front end and cloned it, and then launched that as Copy.AI. And this platform, we now have 19 different tools. So we do everything from like web page, landing page text, hero text, blog idea generator, blog introduction writer. We have like 3 copywriting techniques that are really great. We added in product development features like startup idea generator, startup name generator. Like these, people have played with these. Like I've played with these for decades.
Yeah.
And they're usually not very good, but with GPT-3, they're actually really pretty good. And the result quality level is high enough to actually get people to find real value in the tools.
Yeah.
So when we launched this one 6 weeks ago on Twitter,
really?
We got 2,000 users in the first 2 days. And 10 days later, we knew we were getting like organic signups of like almost 300 a day.
That's wild.
And that was coming through word of mouth. And we start to see these organic mentions online. And then we knew we basically set our initial pricing and started getting the conversion rates that would make us like venture backable, that makes us a real business and not just a side project.
That's so cool. I remember when GPT-3 came out as well, and we were all seeing crazy demos online, everything from like writing like fiction to like generating HTML for websites. And I remember at the time I actually applied, and I didn't get I didn't have a very good application form. It wasn't very specific, but I just wanted to get access to start playing with stuff. But I was thinking at the time, like, man, it feels like there's so much opportunity for commercialization already.
Yeah, so we applied for the startup idea generator, and we got access to it. Luckily, that just ended up being one of our tools. So there are a ton of use cases. The one that caught my eye the most was Sharif Shamim describe an app, and then he gets it to write the React code that builds it. You know? It's like, okay, how's this for low code?
Yeah.
Like, forget low code, dude, just describe what you want and then it'll get rendered for you. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a working app. Like this is what it's capable of. So he took on the impossible use cases, and we tried to take on the very easy
Right.
ones. So
It's a great it's one of those ideas where so many of the great ideas for products and apps are like you look at it and you go, "Oh, well, that's obvious." You know, why did I think of that, right? But like you got it
yes,
takes the execution, it takes jumping on it and working through it and stuff like that, you know. So it's a really cool idea and it's a great domain. It's a really good domain.
thank you. Yeah, we had taglines.ai, which was as obvious as we could think of, but it wasn't registered yet. So we just went and registered it.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, if we're going to do this, like what's the naming that you choose for something that's going to write lots of different types of copy? And so we were playing around with stuff that was available. The Copy.AI was taken, so I didn't even check the website. I just kept going. And then my co-founder Chris is like, "Hey, Copy.AI is like for sale for like $5,000 if we want to buy it." He's like, "But more interestingly, you can lease to own for $170 a month."
Really?
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
I was like, whipping my credit card out because like this is an amazing domain name. So of all the things we've done so far, that decision has been the biggest competitive advantage we've had. Is just literally the name of the site.
Yeah.
You could not get a shorter name
Right.
for this
No,
anywhere. Even
definitely not.
a .com is longer, and it
Yeah.
doesn't explain that this is AI.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that the name's awesome. That
The name is
it's
that it's absolutely perfect. Like, and so many people
yeah,
do AI domain names either just because it's a short domain
yeah.
and it looks cool, or maybe they have some very light AI, right? But like that, this is the core of your product is the
All
AI,
right. So here's the weird thing: we know nothing about AI.
right?
We don't really understand how GPT-3 works. We
Right,
really don't know
right.
because they've made it so easy to use that you just, if you find it useful, build out tools
Yeah,
like you can use it.
yeah,
So we think we have one of the most powerful AI applications for like the general public,
yeah,
and it deserves a .ai domain name, but there's no AI in our platform on our end, which is like
right.
it's amazing, because I see IBM advertising to me on Twitter like the future of AI. I'm like, dude, you guys haven't even launched a product in like
Yeah,
30 years, like
yeah, yeah,
why are you spending money on these ads? Like we have the platform.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's really funny.
It's
It's
so
funny to me.
interesting because you see all of these products with AI and everybody's trying to build things with AI, but then it's like when it really comes along, it's just obvious. Like when there's an image recognition functionality or some AI that really is a step change in the value it creates for the end user, it's totally obvious, and it makes all the other products and platforms that sort of are AI light. It just makes it so clear, you know.
Yes, at the end of the day, the user does not care what tools are in your tech stack.
Yeah,
They don't care. So I tell people, oh, it's GPT-3. They don't care. They don't even know what that is.
yeah,
I say it's AI. They're like, I don't really care. Like, what are the results
yeah,
like?
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So at the end of the day, I don't care whether the company I'm subscribing to their software uses AWS or Google Cloud or it uses deep learning techniques or machine learning. Like those are all buzzwords
yep,
that are not really that don't really matter. Like, and for most MVP products for startups, they don't need AI. They really just need like some correlation or regression analysis, and maybe
right,
like
totally,
A/B testing is all the reinforcement learning they need. So a lot of times it's just overkill for
totally.
something that's not adding real value.
Yeah, it's neat how simple and elegant your product is. Um, and so, as far as having a dependency on a hard dependency on GPT-3, do
Right?
do you have any guarantees that you'll continue to be supported or anything like that?
No, we don't.
You're living on a prayer.
No, I don't think so. If you look at the makeup of OpenAI, it's literally the best people on the planet.
Yeah,
So their CTO is Greg Brockman. He's a CTO at Stripe. He could do anything he wants,
yeah,
right, on the planet,
yeah,
and he chose to do this.
yeah,
Sam Altman was the CEO of Y Combinator. Again,
yeah,
insanely, successful in startups, could do anything he wants. And what do they end up wanting to do? They want to democratize access to AI.
Yeah.
And they don't want big tech companies to end up owning these technologies. They want to be able to create, enable people to create companies around it and provide that as a service. So to me, our mission fit is like identical to their mission fit. So I'm not worried about, oh, well, they're just going to come in and build Copy.AI on their own. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, zero chance of that. And if they did, we'd find something else to do.
Yeah.
So what we've looked at, and the bigger question I think would be, well, how does GPT-4 impact your business? Because I have no idea what it is.
Right.
Do you?
No, when you said that, I was like, "Wait, GPT-4 is out?" But I
Yeah,
guess you're saying whatever the next generation is, how is that gonna impact things?
right. And we have no idea. So our only framework is what we're doing is we're trying to take the model and capture as much value from it for our users' business needs as we can.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
So 4 comes out, it's the same structure, right? So it could make some of our tools obsolete, but we've got a lot. And if it makes them better,
Yeah.
it's going to make our platform even stronger being
Yeah.
built on top of it.
It is really cool that they're democratizing because I've thought about AI over the years and thought about like what are cool applications that can be built. And it's like it's really only the big tech companies that previous to this had access to interesting AI stuff. I mean, Google, Gmail, building cool, search
Right.
applications or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that it's being democratized.
At the moment, I mean, these are going to be mega battles, and I know Google and Facebook and Amazon, they can build better AI tools for their use cases. So if we're generating ad posts for people that are using Google ads, there's no doubt Google is going to come out with a better product because they have all the conversion metrics and data, right, to
Totally.
do it.
Yeah.
And Facebook, the same thing. Amazon, the same thing on like product descriptions. They know how that impacts your sales, right? So at the end of the day, and you've seen, I mean, everybody's like scared of AI and like what's going to happen? Are these big companies going to own it and dominate it? These are real questions people have. And speaking for myself, I don't trust those big companies with that technology and that responsibility.
Yeah.
And so OpenAI saying, "Hey, look, you don't have to trust us. We'll give everybody access to it."
Yeah.
That to me, like I don't know how long they can keep that up, but it means a lot. And so when I think about our platform, we're helping people be more creative and create business opportunities and growth opportunities and writing all this text. They're trusting us with a lot of data in this platform that we're generating, right? So how do we like make it put put basically transparency into our core values? How do we put like gratitude, empathy with our user base? Like a lot of these folks, they've needed help forever writing copy, and because they couldn't write the words they needed for their websites or ad campaigns or blog posts, they haven't been able to grow their businesses like they would like. So we're approaching it very much from the entrepreneur's standpoint of let's solve your business problems. You want to create these great companies and you need a lot of help and you can't afford the alternatives right now. So we're going to give you these tools that you need.
Yeah.
And if you play with them and you like the results, that helps us make our tools better.
Yeah.
So over time, it's like I can't even imagine what tools are going to be launching. So we've got 4 tools in development right now that are all mind blowing. Like
Hmm.
they'll be our best tools we have. And I'm telling everybody, I'm like, look, we've only harnessed about 10% of what GPT-3 is capable of. So that sounds crazy, but we've not hit the limits on this tool. Like this tool gets created, it's a model,
Yeah.
and you can use it any way you want. And the results are as good as the instructions you give it to give you back what you want.
Hmm.
So unlike most models that are data centric, to code, like basically your coding is in words instead of syntax,
Right.
which means the new engineer is the copywriter. It's the creative person that gives it better instructions.
Hmm.
So you are going to see that creative people have been trapped not having power like within the organizations that they work in. They're not decision makers. They're like feeding ideas and stuff up to someone else who's making the decision. This is going to get flipped. The creator is now going to be able to create much faster and things that are beyond your wildest imagination. So when this comes to marketing, you tell me what percentage of ads are just crappy.
I listened to a podcast recently on
Yeah.
Freakonomics where they talked about like, does advertising even work at all? And then some people
Yeah.
did studies on it and stuff. And it's I've been thinking about that for weeks now because I don't. I mean, I don't like ads. You know, I don't. Most ads I see, I don't really love.
Right.
So a large percentage, I would say.
Exactly. So what I've been thinking too is like, IBM's running all these ads. They're spending millions of dollars doing this.
Mm.
Yet at the same time, they're laying off 10,000 of their employees at a time.
Wow.
Right? So wait, what happened? Well, your ads don't work. You don't actually know how to communicate with a prospective customer. Your work, you are not communicating anything like they want to see it. Your messaging does not resonate. How many ad agencies have you seen have Twitter accounts and they tweet stuff out and it gets zero engagement? Like literally every single ad agency gets zero engagement on their posts, right? Isn't that surprise? It's like,
Yeah, I'm
why
trying to think.
why am I trusting you with my money?
Right. I don't know if I follow too many ad agencies, but I'll take your word
I've
for
had
it.
to look into it, but like literally most corporate social media accounts get no engagement on any of their posts.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, look, the reason why none of these ads work is because the messaging isn't right. There's nothing interesting about the message, and no one cares.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
So you can pay as much money to promote a message that's not working as you want, but literally all of these platforms give you the opportunity to test your messaging to see if it resonates with the audience that follows you. And if it does, then promote it, you know?
Yeah.
And instead, no, it's just pummeling us with webinars and like things we don't care about, right? Just 7 things about whatever blog posts that are all like SEO driven.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nobody has time to read this stuff or like any of it. There's no truth in this, and there's no story in what they're trying to tell us.
Yeah.
So my whole goal was, and this is very important. So when you're building a GPT-3 powered copywriter, the core things people want are things to help them write their ads. In my opinion, the future of marketing is not ad driven. It's all organic. Like your customers can deliver your message for you if you get it right better than anyone else. And if you're Elon Musk, you don't have to advertise to sell a car.
Right.
How are you going to compete with him?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you could have 3 MBAs and be the CEO, and it
Yeah.
would not matter,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's no way he'll crush you in any industry he comes into because he
Yeah.
has unlimited power of like captivated, basically human vision across the planet.
Well, it's the
And it's
innovation. I mean, he keeps innovating
well,
and
he does innovate too, but even without that, if he's like, "Yo, I'm watching candy store online," it would sell out.
well, yeah. Yeah, because he's just the brand that he's like the tequila thing, like they're just the
Yeah,
brand that he's built. It's yeah.
but that's how business should be done. It's way more fun.
Right.
Like he did get that right, but then like his projects are insane, right?
Right.
Like his technical projects, and I'm kind of like, I wish that they weren't so insane so that other people would be inspired to build companies.
Right.
But it's hard to inspire me when you're like launching rockets to Mars. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do, right? I
Yeah.
just feel stupid,
Yeah.
So like, I I don't know. I think I've wanted to have some kind of project to help people start their companies and not feel stupid the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And so I've been building in public to show people like, hey, we're running into problems too. And
Yeah.
we ask the audience for help, which is like Twitter, and then they help you.
Yeah.
And the more people that follow you in the project, like they will not let you fail. And what I realize is when I'm online, I'm when I'm scrolling through my feed, I'm looking for opportunities where I can be helpful.
Mm,
And that's when I engage. That's when I post. And there are millions of people looking for ways to be helpful. And I think not enough companies recognize that. And so they don't ask anyone to help.
mm.
Right. And then you go to their website and they might have a careers page and it says no job postings, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
And then you go and look on LinkedIn at their employee headcount growth and it's zero. It's just flatlined.
Yeah.
So how is it you're not growing as a company and you don't need help, right?
Yeah.
Of course you need help. You're not growing, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I have a very different perspective coming at it as an investor
Yeah.
who's very interested in growth and mostly interested in seeing the future get built faster. The thing that disappoints me the most is how many founders imitate someone else's business when they're starting their own.
Mhm.
It's like, well, I'm going to do that with this feature. And I'm like, why? This is not, you're not starting a business. You're me too. You know, you just want to be a founder or something.
Mhm.
It's nothing to do with the project. Tell me something that's interesting,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, you have an interesting perspective as an investor. I think it's somewhat rare, I'd imagine, for somebody to be an investor and then to get back into building their own business.
It's way easier this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's way, I won't lie. I mean, it's an unfair advantage.
Right. Yeah.
And it's in a different way. So you have like I've read and listened to all these startup podcasts, advice from all these people, and then at the end of the day, it was like three things of advice or two pieces of advice that really mattered more than anything else, and across like hundreds of hours of research and study. One of them was Keith Raboy from Founders Fund. He's like, yeah, you know, most startups really fail because they're all looking at like all these little incremental improvements. He's like, what you have to focus on is a 10x improvement and only work on these order of magnitude improvements to your product. And if you can do that a few times, he's like, you will have built something great. I was like, well, that makes that makes a lot of sense,
That makes sense.
right?
Yeah.
So like on our website, it's not pixel perfect design.
Yeah.
So we've focused the entire thing on the quality of the words coming out the
Yep.
end when you hit generate. That's it.
Yep.
That's all we focused on,
Yep.
and adding tools. So that's one. The second thing that founders miss is they don't understand the value of what they're building.
Mm.
So value has to be calculated. If you cannot calculate the value of the product you want to build, you're not going to have any signal or understanding of whether people are going to buy it. So when we looked at our tool, we said, okay, we could do unlimited copywriting. What's that worth? Well, one copywriter's hour of work is like $100 if you go through an agency. The minimum spend is like 10 hours a month. That's like $1,000,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
We knew we could do it at a $50 a month price point just on a monthly basis and $35 a month if you paid the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 20x improvement
Mm-hmm.
and a 30x improvement on
Yeah.
just price.
Yeah.
The fact that it generates this copy for you in 5 or 6 seconds, anything you want, and you get to pick what you like a creative director would, that's another 10x improvement. And when
Yeah.
you stack them, it's like a 200x improvement.
Yeah.
And it's unlimited. So if you need a team of people, it's again like that's before you even get into, well, what are the tools or what are the features or all this other stuff. The core value is very clear. So if you're generating a 10x improvement, you can charge 1x of it, and it's very obvious to the customer that there's value in it for them.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense? So like if you we're and you know, I'm seeing now people, they had some business idea, they never did anything with it, and then they use our tool, and in 15 minutes, they have all the copy they need for their landing page to launch.
That's really cool.
The value to them, if that business works, is in the millions,
Yeah.
right? And this is the tool that unlocked it. And we have like a 7-day free trial where they can just go get all the copy they need for the first month and a half or 2 months.
Yeah,
Like,
and yeah, no, that is really cool. And like you talked about how like a non-technical person can use the tool to create things they wouldn't have been able to create. And then on the flip side, like a technical person who might have had problems creating a landing page and all those kinds of things can get that done really quickly.
yes, the technical person is very good at building a product and quantifying pieces of that. They have a hard time connecting with a potential customer that they've never interacted with before.
Yeah.
So our text is like trying to predict what their customer is what's going to resonate with their customer.
Yeah.
It's a great bridge tool that could allow you to avoid interviewing a lot of customers before you build anything.
Mm.
So most people, they have an idea and they're like, oh, I got this great startup idea, right? You ever hear somebody have an idea after they've interviewed 50 people? No, because who wants to interview 50 people,
Right.
right?
It's
Nobody's
not,
like, yo, dude, I'm thinking about interviewing 50 people. What do you think? You know, you're like, no.
yeah.
So this is a very human flow. Like we're hoping to allow people to have this very human flow, which is, hey, I think it'd be cool to do X, Y, or Z. And then use our tools to back into, well, who would be a customer of this?
That's interesting. I didn't.
So this is the way the human brain works.
Mhm.
You know, so it's like, oh, I want to build. Okay, we need something good here.
Yeah, let's go through a good example.
Okay, let's
You've
do it.
probably seen a 1,000 of them in the last few months.
I don't know. Look, one thing I've always thought about. I mean, and I didn't have the copy for this. Was all these? You know anybody with a pool?
Oh yeah,
You know anybody that they have a pool and they're not using it like every day?
I think so. Yeah, my neighbors.
And you're like, dude, if I had a pool, I'd be there every day, right? This is what you're thinking.
Right.
And so the problem that I've thought about is, well, why are they not using the pool? And then I was like, well, what's the best use case of a pool in your life? What's your best like event that you had at a pool?
Is it personal use versus like entertaining people for a
Yeah,
party?
look, entertaining, right? Pool party.
Yeah,
Have you had fun at a pool party before?
yeah.
There are very few experiences in life better than a really fun pool party,
Right.
right?
Right.
And they have this asset that's sitting there dug into their yard and they're never enjoying it. And so the opportunity is, well, how do you get pool owners to have a better experience? And the answer is very simple. It's like pool party on demand, right? So you're out at your pool and you're like, man, I would like a frozen margarita, right?
Mm.
But you don't have a margarita machine at your house.
Right.
You
Right.
just hit our app and then we deliver you one, man, right to your backyard, right? You're like,
I
dude,
like
I
it.
would love I'd love one of those pool basketball goals, right? Or I'd love a big water slide thing that shoots into the pool.
Right.
Rent it on demand. You don't need to own this stuff.
Right.
And if you like it, we'll sell it to you.
Right.
So the whole idea was an entire services business built around throwing pool parties. And the interesting thing was, if you threw enough of them, all the people that you're inviting over to your house for the pool party will eventually want their own pool, and
Right.
we'll build it for them. You
Right.
know,
Right.
so I was like, dude, the future is everybody works from home, yet we're throwing insane pool parties every day, like at lunch, dude.
I like
That
it.
was it, right?
So, and then when
But
you're
I don't have the copy for the landing page. You know, I
right,
need the copy. Where's my
right,
copy? You know?
right, right, right. And how would you plug that into the tool?
Okay.
Yeah,
So let me just pull it up. So what you would probably do is you have the idea, which is pool party on demand service or something, right? And that's kind of how you would describe it.
yeah,
And you may not have a name for this yet, the domain name has to be awesome, right? So you would like the way I would do is probably like poolparty.com or something, those would be the kinds of domain names you'd want. But it could be a longer one or it could be a shorter one, whatever. We want to be able to build the domain name availability check into the tool, into our name generation tool, because that's really what you care about, right? It's like, well, that's a great name,
Oh
but if
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
get the
totally.
.com, I don't
Yep,
care. So
yep.
we want to build that into the tool. And then,
Which in and of itself is a great little piece of tech marketing for Copy.AI would be because there's all these domain name search tools, and having a search tool that has cool ideas and shows you the availability in and of itself is
yes,
a cool, would be great.
yeah. And I would love to partner with a firm like Namecheap or something. That's who I use
Yep, yep,
to be able to I actually tweeted at the CEO. He didn't respond yet, but I was like, "Yo, I need your API. Like, let's do this." I'm like, I don't even charge you money as an affiliate. I'll literally just send all this traffic over there,
yep,
and they'll buy their domains and whatever. That's going to be coming, and when you get that, that's the tool that the domain name market has missed totally,
yep,
which is the right domain and the .com. All that stuff should be taken care of for
yep,
you.
yep.
You know, so
Like the
then all you have
fact
to do
that
is you
they
pick at
didn't.
it. I have a list of 10. You pick the one that's like, oh, that's the best one.
Yep. I mean, the fact that the domain companies haven't jumped on this, haven't just tied in GPT-3, is kind of surprising now that I think about it.
Yeah, they haven't yet. I don't think they probably wouldn't get a license for this from GPT-3. I don't think they'd let them into the beta program, but we could
Right.
do it pretty easily because that would just be on the side of our platform as
Hmm.
an API.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm hoping
Yeah.
that we can get that set up quickly.
Yeah.
So let's say you got like poolparty.com or yeah, bigsplash.com or something, then you're like, okay, now you need some copy that you hope would resonate. So you would type in like I'd probably describe it as we help you, we help you throw a fun pool party, something like that. And the GPT-3 knows that help, like when you use the help word as a keyword, it's all about like making it easier, alleviating pain points, so it'll surface lots and lots of these pain points for your customers without you even telling them anything about it,
Okay.
which is awesome.
That's
um,
crazy. That's crazy that it surfaces the pain points.
it does, yeah. So we have a tool called Pain Agitate Solution, which is
Hmm.
actually a
I think I
copywriting
tested that
technique.
one. Yeah.
Let me see here.
I think that's the
So
one I tested.
we we help. I'm going to type this up. We help you throw awesome pool parties. I'll see if this returns anything. So you would take basically these pain points are really, it's like the customer hook, right? This is a problem they have. So these pain points work really well as email subject lines. Okay, here we go. Can I share my screen? Is that possible or
I think
not?
so. If you just do a Skype screen share, it might just pull it right in. Yeah, I think it pulled that in.
Can you see?
No. Oh,
This is lit.
here we go. Here we go. There we go. All right, we got it. Nope. All right, we got it.
Okay. So the first result, all I did was type in, we help you throw awesome pool parties. The first result says pain. Having a pool and not using it? Question mark. Why does that happen?
That's hilarious.
Agitate. We believe the reason some people don't get to enjoy their pools is because they don't know how to throw awesome pool parties.
Yep.
Solution. Pools, which is what I call this one. Pools provides you with awesome pool party ideas plus everything you need to organize the perfect pool party, including swimming toys, food, and drink shopping lists. Head on over to our pools blog that is filled with awesome summer cocktail recipes, entertaining decorating tips, and
It,
handy
like,
ideas for
gives you the business model.
it's the
That's
whole business.
it gives you the whole business. That's insane.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had not had this product framed. To me, I thought just in terms of you have the business, it gives you the copy. But
No,
yeah,
we're literally giving you the business and we're giving you all the words you need to start it. And I had not run this idea through this until we just mentioned it.
get it live. That's so cool.
So look, this is like literally like 3 slides out of a pitch deck if you're gonna go raise like 50K to try to launch this locally, right?
Right.
So what we're hoping is that you'll be able to just pick up these different tools to do different things. So like we might look at growth ideas. So like, well, okay, we've got this business. How do we grow it? Like what do we do to grow it? Let's see here. We help you throw awesome pool parties. I don't know what this will return either. Like this, I'm telling you, we don't know how these tools work. We just know that they work.
That's so crazy.
So
The future is wild.
look, this is pretty straightforward, right? Build a funnel from other sites um, to ask their existing users for help. So like basically, that would just be partner with like pool service companies, right? They have a customer list with all their pools and whatnot. It'd be very easy to go get like 10 of those companies on board locally, right? And now you're blasting their customer list.
By the way, sorry, this is the Pay and Agitate tool, or this is a
No,
different
this is
tool?
a different tool. It's called Growth
Growth
Ideas.
Ideas. Got it.
So
Can
this is
I apologize if
go for it.
I'm curious. Are you plugging this in differently? And if this is secret sauce, that I don't mean to pry, but
Okay.
are you plugging this when you pass this off to GPT-3? Are you doing some specific things to tell it, hey, we want growth ideas?
Yes, we give it a list of examples of inputs and outputs. And then we add in what you said, and it does pattern recognition through this big
Gotcha.
model.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now it's not that complicated. So, but you'll see with these results, like they're hit or miss. They're mostly miss in this
Right.
particular one.
Uh,
So for us to improve the quality of the results of every tool, we're going to have to add in some complexity in our back end. So
right.
over time, these results will improve. Okay, so you had basically an affiliate model. That would be this first one. And then the third one would be endless amounts of social media platforms, right? So if you think about it, every time there's like a big fun pool party, somebody's taking pictures and not tweeting about like Instagram or Facebook, right?
Yep.
This is the kind of business that will go viral because people are enjoying their pools more and they're sharing these stories.
Oh
Um,
God, yeah.
right?
The social media content component feels like
Content's insane.
endless.
So look, that was growth idea number 3. Um, so CPA, that's like targeted ads, right? For people that are interested in pools. Like that would be like 1, 2, and 3. And honestly, that's probably where I'd start. One would be the affiliates. The second would be targeting pool owners. And the third would be the social media play on it. So you'd have things like, competition for the most awesome pool party every week. You win something. So,
That's such a cool idea.
so that to me is like the problem you're solving is like how do people have more fun with the existing resources we have,
Hmm.
right? That's a huge part of startup things that I would love to invest in, but literally no one is working on stuff that helps people have more fun.
Well, there's probably a few people working on that.
Not many. Look at the big startups. It's mostly around like monetizing an asset like Uber and with your car, or Airbnb with your house.
Right.
But real fun, like there's just not enough thought put into it. Like how do humans connect? How do we enjoy our lives?
Right.
And these are the things I'd invest in it.
Right.
Like I would invest in that. And so now one of your listeners can go build it.
I love it, man.
Right. So yes, the positioning on the product is going to change a little bit over time. So we started with very specific marketer use cases where they already know what their product is, they already have a business model, they just need copy. To, hey, here's some tools that can help you start and grow your business
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah. It's really cool. Do do people like I played with the tool a little bit, and like you said, if someone were hit and miss, I think I didn't quite know how to use what I was working with. It was a really quick test, but do people use the copy directly? Do they kind of massage it a little bit, generally speaking?
We don't know.
Okay,
I mean, we all
right.
the text box are edits. So in the beginning, we're like, hey, look, these are brainstorming ideas. You take them and make them your own.
Yeah,
So if the text doesn't make sense, you just fix it, like edit it and cut out the stuff that doesn't make sense.
yeah,
A lot of people think, oh, well, this is conversion optimized text. I'm just going to put it in raw into my ad campaigns. And I'm like, that's probably not a good idea. Right. Like, please, like it could work, but it's not, we are not at a conversion marketer's level of acceptability by any means.
yeah,
But if you know your customer, like if you have the voice of your customer in your head and you run our tool, certain pieces of copy or certain sections will stand out at you, and they will be things that you would never have thought about on your own.
yeah,
And those are the insights that you can get out of the platform. Those can be very valuable.
yeah,
But yeah, definitely make your edits, save the stuff you like, test out different pieces of it. We're giving you a lot of things to try out.
yeah.
And yeah,
The platform itself, did you build it with no code at all? Did you use any no code tools? Or?
we used Webflow for the front end.
Okay,
So all of that is Webflow. We use Firebase as a backend, which is a pretty easy to use NoSQL database
yep,
used by a lot of iOS apps.
yep,
To connect the two is just some JavaScript embedded into the Webflow
cool,
front end. So yeah,
cool.
it's like a real app
Yeah, that's
with
awesome.
flow code.
Yeah,
So it worked. It got us built fast, but we're gonna have to like really get some engineers on board to make it
to build it
really
out.
scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, scale it
Um,
out.
I know you've been posting your revenue figures and it's growing
Yeah,
really fast.
yeah.
What's kind of the future direction for things? You mentioned maybe
Up,
hiring some engineers up up and to the right.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
More so to the up than to the right. Right,
Okay,
right
yeah.
is time. You know,
Yeah.
I'd rather not
Mostly
take
up.
that long.
Yeah.
Mostly up.
Mostly up.
We're gonna need look when it's two people, you need everything.
Yeah.
So we're taking this first principles approach, trying to rethink, well, how should businesses be organized?
Mm,
So we've had hundreds of business ideas, and about 12 of them related very specifically to how businesses are set up.
mm,
All right. So the first test case of this new way of forming a business is around careers. So that company that's not growing, that has no job openings, it's just kind of absurd, right? And you're like, wait a second, like, why is the company defining what the job opening is? And if you're a prospective employee, how many times you go to a website and there's no opening for you? Like literally almost every time, right? So yet the real question is, can you add value to the company, and can you charge them less than the amount of value you're adding to it? Right.
mhm.
So on our website, we put a little thing in our footer, a little form. It's called Work With Us. We don't care whether you're an employee, a contractor, or a vendor.
Mm,
They're all providing some kind of service, right? Those are all legal constructs. But at the end of the day, it's what is the service? So we ask a few questions like name, email. What service do you want to provide to us? All right. So just list it. If you have a portfolio, can you link it in there? Like, so we can know that you've done this work before,
Yeah.
or your LinkedIn profile. Why do you want to work with us? So most people, they're applying because they need money, right? They need
Yeah.
money and they don't care about the job.
Yeah.
And then they turn around in 2 years and go, oh, well, I hate the company I work at. I hate my job. Oh, really? Why did you take the job? Oh, it was great, great salary. And they were really friendly when I interviewed with the interview person
Yeah.
whose job it is to be friendly,
Yeah.
So I'm like, this whole thing's broken. Look, at the end of the day, the only thing that makes sense to me is in the future, everyone loves what they do.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So if you love what you do, what companies do you want to work for? You name
Right.
them.
Yep.
You go to their website, they'll have a footer with work with us. You'll tell them why you love their company.
Mm.
And we launched this last week. We've gotten like over 20 applications through it already.
Mm.
And we didn't even announce it. We just stuck it in the footer.
Nice.
You should see the excitement
Yeah.
and the passion that's coming through in the words they're using to describe why they want to work for our company.
Yeah.
And these are not people we know. Something is resonating with them.
Yeah.
The next thing is we see your profile. We see that you want to work with us, right? How much is it going to cost us? So some people put negotiable. That's just not enough information
Yeah.
for us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, why is it negotiable? Like, the employee or the potential person should tell you
They should
how much
know.
it's going to cost me to
Right.
work with
It kind of
them. Like,
goes back to what you said about, as a founder, knowing the value of your product, but as an employee, as an individual, as a whatever, knowing the value that you create and being able to price it, it's kind of
yes,
fundamental. It should be fundamental to work in general.
correct. So just to give you an example, I've had copywriters apply, but their rate goes from $5 to $250 an hour.
Yep.
So if they both said negotiable, I'm not even going to
What
have
does that even
time.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to have time to decipher how much value could get spit out. So once I know the cost, right? It's just like you go to a website for software, you hit the pricing page. Like, what are we talking about? Order of magnitude wise,
Yep.
$10 a month, 100,
Yep.
1,000 a month.
Yep.
Okay, now I know the price. Next, this is the most important thing. This is missed by every company on the planet. How much value do you think you can add to our company? Calculate it for us.
Calculating it. Right. Right. Right.
Calculate it. You would not believe the answers. You would not believe the answers. All over the map. One guy's like, I am confident I will add at least 125% of what you pay me in value. I'm like, that's honest, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty honest. Other people were like, they can't answer the question. I'm like, interesting. One guy is an SEO conversion expert. He wrote like a 10 paragraph essay with all the numbers in there about the value of a post and the value of ranking for one of these long tail keywords. He went on and on about it.
Right.
And I was like, this is the person you want to work with. Right?
Yeah.
He hit the vision, right? He's telling you how much it's going to cost him, and he's structured the offer in a way that we can run a test with him for a few $100s.
Piece of cake.
He's self-managed.
Yep.
And he's showing you the value proposition and the calculation of it. So for me, I would never have posted a job opening for what he's going to do.
Right. Right.
At all. But it's totally obvious that, yeah, let's just get him on board and like, let's try this out.
Yep. I love it. Yep.
So this to me it may be the most important thing we do as a company is reimagine how this hiring happens.
That's
and
really
then the
cool.
last question is, are you a fun person with a good attitude that works hard on projects you care about? That's the last question. And it's true or false. It's true or false.
You get any falses?
Not yet. We had another side project we launched that was like people were applying like to move into a founder's house.
Right.
I threw one of these questions in there. It was, are you the type of person that leaves a bad review on Yelp? Yes or no? Like that's what it was. And people would say, yeah, dude. And I'm like, exactly. Like, you want people that are gonna have standards, right? Like, if your product sucks, you want them to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, those are the people that do it. They're very valuable.
So you wanted the people that would leave a negative review.
No,
No.
not to be accepted into the program, but just like
For
just to
other
give us feedback on it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I love it. Um, it's funny when
Anyway,
you mention SEO, it got me thinking that that could be one of the great applications of GPT-3 is to generate all of these long, like, have you thought about doing that for yourselves? You could generate like thousands of long tail keywords
well,
and landing pages and stuff.
the way search works is somebody is searching for that natively. So Google, they see the search request volume and then they show it to you as an advertiser to get you to want to advertise for that, right? So all the SEO keyword tools, it's like, well, how are people framing the question that they have in the inquiry? So yes, we can do a ton with SEO, but AI powered content generators are going to flood the planet with low quality articles.
Thinking, yeah,
Okay. So, what's more important to me as like the future of marketing? What is it? Well, it's more about how you find out about things. Like search, you can either search on Google or you can be a Twitter user and just start seeing these things organically, people mentioning them, word of mouth.
mm,
I think word of mouth is super strong
hmm,
still.
yeah,
And if I were building a long term marketing strategy, I might prioritize word of mouth over SEO. All the SEO stuff, like from what I've heard, Google's doing a great job eliminating a lot of these low quality AI generated posts, but it's going
right,
to be a really hard battle because
yep.
the quality just got better, you
It
know?
feels like so much. I mean, the number of times I've Googled something and I kind of actually, it's funny. I'll know something I saw on Twitter that looked interesting, but it's new and so it doesn't have an established, presence
Yeah.
on Google, and I'll try to find it, and it's impossible to find. It's all these SEO, things,
Yeah.
and in many ways, it feels like Google is kind of broken. But they're so dominant that and everything is ads. Like on mobile, it'll be like a whole page of ads. So it does feel like in some ways, long term, that's not sustainable.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you. Now, that's Google's problem.
Yeah.
And I don't care about their problem.
Mhm.
Right?
Good luck to them.
They got enough money and smart people. Like a lot of my friends work there. Y'all figure that out, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, you're a product manager and you're like, how many more ads can we fit on this page? And I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, please stop. And they're like, no, we want you to advertise for your own domain name site. So when somebody searches for Copy.AI, we want to make sure you advertise for it so that your competitor doesn't show up above you.
Horrible.
This is disgusting, man.
It
This is why
is.
you can't trust them with AI tools.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even their own employees hate the fact that they're working for this cash flow beast. They have this insane complex where they don't feel like proud of the work. They don't feel proud of the search engine.
Right.
But it's stupid. That search engine has created more value on the planet than anything else. It's literally how you find knowledge and information on the internet,
Yeah.
which is the global human knowledge base.
Yeah.
There's almost no more important tool than that.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, my guess is that the business model of selling advertising is not that appealing, right? And that's why it's hard for them to really stay focused on the core value prop. But what GPT-3 it's a better search engine. So here's how it works. If you have to write an essay for your college class, you'd go to the library and you'd talk to the librarian, hey, where can I find information on this topic? Right? Google is that librarian. They say, oh, well, these are the 3 books you need to check out, and this is where they are. That's their search results.
Yeah.
GPT-3 is the librarian you go to. They've read all the books in the library and they are willing to write your paper for you.
Right.
This is
Pretty amazing.
right.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, you actually solved my problem. Google did not solve my problem. Google gave me more work to do,
Right.
but you solved my problem.
Right.
So that's why it's a better search engine, because it has downloaded like maybe 10% of the internet
Okay.
and pre-trained a language prediction model on it.
Right.
So when we're running these requests through Copy.AI, it's just like you gave someone the task, right? So for our pools business, it's like you hired someone and said, hey, I own a business that helps people throw awesome pool parties.
Yeah.
Right? Go write me some copy. So what they would do is they would go to Google, they would search those keywords, they would find anything on that topic that they could, those words, right? But then you don't want to plagiarize. So what you'll do is get like 4 or 5 resources and then synthesize bits and pieces from each to rewrite your own thing.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we did in school when we wrote essays,
Yeah.
book reports.
Yeah.
You did not add any knowledge to the global human knowledge base with your book report, right?
Maybe a little if you're lucky.
No, you did not do any original research, right? There was no original research done
Right.
most of the time.
Not
It was
as,
literally just a process of reading and synthesizing,
yeah.
and maybe a storytelling component or a narrative component.
Yeah.
This GPT-3 does this for you automatically.
Right.
And that means that even more of what school students do is totally obsolete.
Yeah. Yeah.
So think about it. I'm an angel investor in early education, online education companies. Our whole premise is that students need to be able to use the latest technology to their full advantage.
Yeah.
So if you've got Wikipedia, I don't need to like give you different topics that just make you like and then handicap you by not letting you use these tools.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole point of the tool is to empower you to do more.
Yeah.
To be more creative or more productive.
Yeah.
Our tools are totally focused on creativity.
Yeah.
So we want you to launch that awesome pool parties business.
Yep.
Which you can now do literally if you and I said, let's do this pool parties business for real. Right? What is the roadmap? The roadmap is the thing that keeps most people from doing anything. They don't know what to do first.
Right.
All right, let's go through it real quick. Okay, we want to do the pools business, right? Poolparties with a Z.com is available. We register the domain, right? What are we going to do next?
Throw up a website.
We're going to go to Copy.AI and get some words, right? We're going to go to Wix.com to get a template. We're going to go to Unsplash.com for some royalty-free photos, stock photos. And we're going to go to like Gmail to go get to get an email address, right? Poolparties@gmail.com, or you can pay like $9 a month and get a custom domain name, right? So your tech stack is now like Namecheap for the domain, Wix, Copy, Unsplash. That's your stack. So what you end up with is a one-page site with amazing, like beautiful photos, right? Then what do you need? So you have this web page that you put up that's like, hey, we throw pool parties. Your MVP is what? Is basically helping someone throw the first pool party.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know 3 people with a pool?
Yep.
Locally?
Yep.
Right? You call them or text them and say, hey, we want to throw a pool party at your house. Like, we want to build a company that does this. Can we like work together on this?
Yeah.
1 in 3 will say yes. Right? All right. So now you got your first pool party that you're going to be throwing. Then it's a brainstorm session. And I would love to have Copy.AI tools that could help you brainstorm insane pool party ideas. I'm guessing that our startup idea generator could do it if you had the right description in there. And so now you have these insane ideas. Well, for your website, what are the things people look for? They look for testimonials,
Yep.
right? And then images or video or content or a list of like features or services or whatever that are unique. You know,
Like
they don't want
if you had a killer video, and video is a little bit expensive, but if you had a killer video
you
of
could
like an
you could
actual party,
yes off
kids having
off
fun.
the hook
Yeah.
party, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Pool basketball, it's like 5-on-5 and
Yeah.
splashing everywhere.
Just some crisp 30-second teaser videos and stuff like that. Those would be great.
Yes,
Those would do great.
yes. And you could do it on your iPhone. You could record at least the first go around with your iPhone,
Yeah.
right? So again, the timeline for this business is like 2 hours, 3 hours. And if you had someone at the pool that was open this afternoon, it's like 6 hours, right? And it's your friends. So now you got 3 testimonials on your website. You have images and video that you're going to start putting on Facebook,
Figure
right?
out the product mix that you're gonna
Yeah, the
package up.
product mix, it's a menu. So literally your order form is just like name, address, like here's our list of services and the pricing, and then schedule your date, right?
Yep. I like it.
So so like that project is so fun. There's zero competition doing that at all. It has this natural virality to it, and you're solving this problem of the vacant pool that's not being used yet it's being maintained. So like that's how you bring joy to the world with a business, and it takes, I'm telling you, like at most 6 hours to get this business off the ground,
I love it.
and like less than $1,000.
Yeah.
And for most people, they don't see the roadmap. They've never built in that way before.
Right.
And so that to me is more important than like having all these tools. You can have all the tools you want. Like how many website builder apps are there?
Yep.
A billion.
Yep.
How many places can you go register a domain name? Like a billion.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is, along the way, we were showing people what is the process like to start a business. It doesn't take much money. You can do it and have fun with it with your friends, right? And don't like, well, this one may have some liabilities, right? Because if you're selling like big inflatable stuff and serving drinks and alcohol, you know,
Pools can be dangerous.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. Like that's when you might need the LLC set up and
Yeah.
some business insurance, but like that's just something you gotta get anyway.
Yeah.
So let's say you got this thing running, right?
Yeah.
And well, what do you do from there? So you've built, let's say, a local business and you're crushing it, and everybody's basically one-upping the next person to throw a better pool party, and everybody is just like dripping in the city because they're just going from one pool party to the next all summer long, right?
Mm.
Then you're like, okay, now what? Do we go corporate? Do we franchise? What do we do? The franchise opportunity would be amazing for this.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, if you're just selling the package online, you probably just want to sell
No,
direct
not the
to consumer.
package. This is full service.
Full service. Got it.
Because these are the best pool parties.
Got it. We're moving up. Yeah.
Because if it's self-service, look, everything online, Amazon is self-service. You could do it yourself. People are just lazy.
Right.
People want to pay money for fun, and they'll
Right.
pay for it if you just come and help them out. They don't mind paying a good amount of money.
Yeah.
So now you're like, okay, where are you based? You're in Austin.
Yeah.
So you're in Austin. Look, you know how many pools are in Austin?
Quite a few.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I have thought about buying pool route servicing businesses, and they're like 10 in Austin that have been for sale. In like
You're heavy into the pool thing. This
Dude,
wasn't just a random idea.
No, it wasn't a random idea. Look, the pool has been some of my best memories in my whole life.
Yeah.
Like out of the top 20 memories, probably 5 were at a pool
Dude, I'm heavy. Like
with
when I was,
friends.
yeah, when I was a kid, we had a pool in the backyard, and we would swim all the time. Out here, there's a community pool that we're at almost every day during the summer. So I'm a huge pool guy.
So look, here's the other thing. Everybody's gonna be working from home. The
Yeah,
office is dead.
yeah.
And it needed to die because it was soulless. It sucked the vibrancy out of our young people that went to work in offices. There's nothing alive in an office. Everything is dead,
Like
right?
left over from the industrial age, and it sort of made
Yeah,
sense. The centralization made sense from the industrial age, and now
exactly.
we're
Does not
that process.
does not make sense now. When you're at home, you're at your pool. Like people couldn't use their pool the whole week because they get home at 5 or 6 and it's dark.
Yeah.
What's the point? That is the dumbest thing. Like your house is like way awesome, right?
Yep.
Everybody's house is cooler than their office.
Yep.
So why are we spending this money on this office just to have this BS FaceTime,
Yep.
with
It's,
people we don't like
it's time
because everybody took the job for money,
to it's
right?
time to have a pool
It's like,
party.
wait a second. If I just like shake my head and go, okay, well, what would be ideal? Okay, the ideal thing would be I don't have to commute. So that's like 45 minutes back in my pocket. So maybe I use that time to go for a run in the morning,
Yeah.
go hit the weights,
Yeah.
right? And now with my beautiful muscly body, what do I want to do for lunch?
Time for
I'm
a
going to
pool.
sit by the pool.
Sit
I'm
by
going to
the
read
pool.
maybe a book or something. I'm going to get on my phone, talk to some, business associates, like do a little Twitter work, right?
Yeah.
Queue up the next podcast. Literally, that's the future. The
Yeah.
future is today, and this is it. This is it. This is what I've been working on for the past 10 years of my life, is to figure out what the future looks like. I swear to you, is this. In my head, I went as far as to get rid of all the roads in my head. I'm like, look, you won't need to drive anywhere. Like all your stuff will be delivered via drone, right? So
Right.
everybody's house, it's just grass and it's just
Right.
trails and shit.
Right.
I'm getting to my friend's house on an ATV in the
Hell yeah.
suburbs in
Hell
my
yeah.
head,
Yes, sir.
right? Like, how come we all played like Mario Kart as kids, right? The
Right.
most fun we ever have in our life is like doing go karts. And you're telling me that's not street legal, but a Ford F-350 is street legal?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Like,
Right.
if you ask a kid to design a city that makes sense to them, go karts.
Yeah.
It's all go karts
100%. Yeah.
and ATVs. And the people in the country, man, they've got it right. They
That's
just
right.
drive ATVs or horses, ATVs. Dude, look, that's going to be the future of the suburbs.
Yeah.
And running trails,
Yep.
wild animals, elk.
Yep.
I don't know about elk, but like, you know what I mean? It's a very different way of living, but it's more natural and
Yeah.
people will want it.
Yeah.
That's my whole philosophy. Look, all right, you live on a street.
Yeah. Last I checked.
You ever sit on your curb and just look at all that gravel and asphalt?
Yep.
How many acres of concrete does it take to connect like 10 houses?
Oh man, it's great. It's when you sit there and think about all the concrete, all the cement, it's
Yeah.
kind of mind blowing.
And what's the one of the biggest CO2
There,
polluters in the world?
there's like a
Is concrete production.
yeah, there's like a shortage of because they use sand. They use like the silicon from sand to produce concrete, and there's like a shortage of sand. I heard on a podcast at one
Yeah.
point. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's places in the world where they steal sand.
It doesn't look, I'm telling you, man, if you just look at the amount of concrete and go, what would I rather use these resources on?
Yeah.
The answer is better pool parties,
That's right.
right?
Well, Paul, that's a great note to end on. It was a lot of
Yeah,
fun
this is
talking to
fun.
you.
I enjoyed talking to you too.
I appreciate your enthusiasm is infectious, and I love how future oriented you are.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's literally next week is the first week I'll be working from home officially.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's it. The
Nice.
future that I would just describe is literally Monday.
Getting the
So
ATV.
it's not futuristic. We're getting the 2-year-old and the 6-year-old, the little kids ATV.
Nice.
for Christmas.
I
So
love
yeah,
it. I love it.
yeah. I'll see if I'm sure it can fit me on there.
Yeah.
Ride that thing around.
Well, thanks again, man. Where is the best place? Probably Twitter, but what's your Twitter handle?
Twitter.
Where's the best place for people to find you online?
So Paul Yacoubian, PaulYacoubian, and Twitter is my personal CRM platform. So all my
Cool, cool.
people, all my messages flow right through there. My DMs are open. If any of your listeners want to be like, hey, cool show, bro, I'll be like, awesome, thanks, man, and then give them the fire emoji back.
Beautiful.